everybody, and welcome back to my public life as an American nerd. I'm Eddie, and I'm with Daniel Avila Jr. He is the owner of After Hours Fun,
Fun.
right? After Hours Fun.
Yep.
Okay. He's going to be at Scare Fair. He's going to be one of the artists there at Scare Fair. He has a lot of cool art that we're going to talk about and get to know what he does and what he enjoys doing. How you doing, Daniel?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, what type of art are you into?
Man, so it's a broad range, but I would say a good chunk of it is just anything that is horror related. Yeah, I did a lot of academic art for 12 or 15 years, which is consisted of, like studying from the masters and drawing, doing a lot of artwork that was inspired by like fine artists like Michelangelo and stuff like that. But then, I started noticing I wasn't happy doing that, so I went back into what I'm happy doing, and it's like just I would consider it like dark art, and lately it's been mostly pinup related, and so now I would just sum it down to like just pinup horror.
Oh, cool.
Very pulp driven. I'm inspired by a lot of like vintage 60s horror posters and stuff like that.
So you got a lot of inspiration from actresses such as Elvira and Lillian from Lilith from the Monsters, right? And Vampira. Do you go back and do you do Vampira as well?
Yeah, I was just noticing a lot of them kind of look similar. Just the hairstyle is different on all of them.
Yeah.
So as soon as you change the hairstyle, it's funny because you can just tell who each character is, and that's what's cool about them, and that's what I appreciate them and admire them, is they created such an iconic brand within themselves that just alone, if you see their silhouette and you see their hairstyle, you can already tell who it is.
Now I'm going to show you a couple that we have in our up on our art wall.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's a nice one.
That's one there. And we had purchased these way before Scare Fair. It was probably almost 2 years ago that we purchased these from you. We went on your Etsy. My wife went on your Etsy page.
Yeah.
I purchased some of these for you. And the colors pop when they're on the wall. Here's one of Lilith.
That one that you're holding up right there, that's the one that got me started. So I really didn't know what I was trying to find my like area of art in until I did that particular piece right there. I did that like 2 years ago, and I started off doing a lot of figure drawing and a lot of just pinup drawing, figure drawing, but I didn't know, I wanted to find something I was happy doing. So I kind of took my traditional pinup or figure drawing skills, and then I married it with horror. And so I said, I'm going to start putting these, like the villains into like some kind of a pinup look. And then that's where I'm having fun with. So I kind of ran with it. Until this day, that one right there that you held up, it's my best seller. And I try not to print out so many. I just do like limited prints of 20, and then I'll wait for like another 6 months and then do another run. And yeah,
that's a good one. Now I saw that on a t-shirt as well. You're gonna do t-shirts as well, or was it Lilith, right?
Yeah, so that one, my screen printer, he's actually working on that this week. And I waited a long time to do that one. I wasn't in a hurry because for me, I like to produce something that's quality, and I'm ready. I feel good about it. I don't want to just pump something out and say, oh.
Here we go. I opened up your your Instagram.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
And so I'm gonna scroll down a little bit,
Mhm.
and there is the art of Lilith right there. I'm a Lilith monster, and she's on a t-shirt. And then you have, I guess that would be Elvira, or
Yeah, that
Elvira coming out of a
was.
pumpkin. And that shows a lot of your creativity right here in this mixture of pinups, which I like. I also noticed you do pins as well, right?
Enamel pins. Yeah.
They're enamel pins.
Enamel pins. Yeah, those are fun to do. They're really fun, and I only have like 3 of them out right now.
Well, the detail in them is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that one I had to like pay really close attention to. I did it myself where I vectored it and then I sent it off to the production guys. And I'm really picky about the line work. And so I had to like send it back a few times in order to get it done right. Because once you scale something down from large to like 1 inch, you got to think bold, you got to think more simple, and you got to eliminate a lot of certain lines in there. So you got to redo it so that it reads well as a 1 inch image.
And there's another one of the creature surfing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what are these here? More enamel pins. Oh,
That's the
there's
enamel
that's
pin,
the enamel pin with the
the close up,
close up, but it's got
a
the
backing.
backing of it is
Mhm.
the spider webs. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you go to art school?
Unfortunately, I didn't. I'm like mostly self-taught,
Which
and
a lot of good artists are.
yeah, it's hard knock self-taught where like I kind of paid my dues, and I grew up a graffiti artist in LA, and so that's kind of where I learned my typography through doing like graffiti letters and learning about color. Um, and then I studied figure drawing, like these images down here with the black and white
You
figure
sure?
drawing. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's pretty cool.
So
We have the same type of model.
uh,
Do you need a model to draw their figures, or can do you
no,
draw from
I
memory?
I can draw from memory pretty well. The good thing is studying from live models is that you can see them in 3 dimensions and you
Uh-huh.
can see like the anatomy, and that's the whole point of drawing from a live model is so that you see it in 3D. And if you draw from a picture, you're looking at it flat, so it's going to flatten everything out. And it's just like being very picky and critical about. I'm sure a lot of comic book artists out there, their comics are really well done because they study a lot of anatomy.
Yeah, yeah. This clown girl is pretty cool. Now this is
Oh,
a sticker.
that's a sticker.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed right here, you did a show at Second Street Coven
Mhm.
on July 24th. Do you do much vendoring?
No, this is probably going to be my fourth show.
You're talking about
Um,
Scare Fair will be your
Scare
fourth
Fair will
show?
be my fourth show. Yeah, and I don't want to say selective, but I'm going to say I'm very selective of the events that I do.
Mhm.
And the event for Scare Fair, it was just very attractive. It wasn't just one of those things where like, hey, let's just put a show together and bring a lot of there's a lot of thought process I know you put into it because you've been planning on this for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, it's
So
been
when you
like
hit me,
few
yeah,
months.
you hit me up a long time ago, and I was like, oh, this guy is on it, and that's one thing I like about it is that you are already prepping for it way back, like in
Yeah,
February or something.
yeah,
And the fact that you were doing that told me, okay, it's going to be an organized event. There's going to be, good people to market with and good customers and people that I'm going to know. So it sounds like something that I need to be a part of. So that's why I chose to be a part of it.
that's
But
good.
yeah, the reason.
Glad you jumped on board. I love your work. As you can tell, we purchased some of your work.
Mhm.
When we had set this up and you and I had talked, you asked if you could bring um,
A
like
model.
some a model as well, but
Yeah.
some black lighting.
Oh yeah. I have my neon light. I don't know if you can see it on one of these images, but I have a neon light that I paid a good money for, and that's my branding right there. I don't. Right there it is, right there. So right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So that kind of makes your booth pop as well. But
yeah.
I love the different images along with the different types of way that you sell, either on
Hmm.
t-shirts, print, um,
Hmm.
stickers, pins. Yeah.
Yes, I work for a licensing company. So one of the licensing companies I work for, they're like the main companies that design Disney, Marvel. We do a lot of stuff for Hot Topic. I do a lot of graphic designs for them, and I see the way they merch their stuff into those stores. And so that's where I kind of learned how to merchandise a table. And I'm still learning. This is like I haven't even been into this for a year. I just started doing this like last um, I don't know, like last December, and then this is my fourth show coming up. So I'm still learning as I go along. Some of the vendors out there have some crazy looking booths. It's pretty inspiring, and then
Yeah.
I like to just keep it simple and just like merchandise well.
Well, you're learning from, like you said, Hot Topic that has
Hmm.
similar types of interests that you have with your type of art. Um, Hot Topic's one of those places where you would go to purchase something from Disney, but that wasn't uh, like Goofy or Mickey, but was kind
Hmm.
of a darker gothic
A
feel.
darker.
Yeah. So you're on the right lines of marketing with the same way
Mhm.
that they market. Now, do you watch a lot of horror movies?
You know what? It's like if you want my first, like my true opinion on it, I'm such a 80s horror guy. That's it.
Oh,
Like
80s, yeah.
any and I do like the new modern horror stuff. Like what was the last one that I saw was It Follows. Did you see that?
Oh,
It Follows.
yes, it follows, yes.
Yeah. So that one
Yeah,
was really cool. That had the Stranger
yeah.
Things vibe. I think some of the producer from Strange or one of the guys that worked on Stranger Things was
Hmm.
doing that one. So I like stuff like that. But this new modern horror stuff, I just can't. I mean, I like the mainstream modern stuff. I can't.
Yeah. A lot of it is just graphic horror, um,
Hmm.
just gore,
Hmm.
and like I said, graphic horror. But from in the 80s, a lot of the uh, horror movies are based on the character and the
Hmm.
mysteriousness of the character, and had a whole movie uh, artistic flavor to it.
Yeah,
Um,
there was definitely a quirkiness to it,
oh, quirky,
like,
yeah, definitely.
and that's what made it that. Like, because I grew up actually down the street from a lot of the scenes where like Nightmare on Elm Street was filmed. So I think it was part five, the Dream Master.
Right.
I think it was
Yeah, that
it
was.
was
Yeah.
the one where his hand came out of the sand,
Hmm.
and it was like filmed at the beach. It was supposed to be a beach. Well, that's actually a lake. It's called Lake Machado, and I actually live around the corner from there. So my dad took me there to go meet
What?
Robert
What's?
England.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
The actress that plays in that movie, Lisa Wilcox, is
Uh huh.
also going to be at the Scare Fair as well.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's cool.
Yeah. So you could share with her some of your memories
Hmm.
of when that movie was made. Yeah, at Scare Fair, there's going to be quite a few actors and celebrities. There's going to be Lisa Wilcox from A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 and 5. There's going to be Walter Phelan from House of a Thousand Corpses. He plays
Hmm.
Dr. Satan. Um, Joe Bob Briggs, of course, and his male girl Darcy. They're both going
Hmm.
to be there from Shutter's The Last Drive-In. There's going to
Hmm.
also be let's see, Eileen Dietz from uh, The Exorcist. She
Hmm.
played the demon. Who else is going to be there? Uh, John Massari. He did the
Hmm.
music for um, the music for oh man, Killer Clowns. I'm sorry, for Killer Clowns. He orchestrated the music for that. There's going to be the podcast girls, the Taki horror podcast girls from Universal. They're going to be there. Missy Sahagan, who's a up and coming new actress who's in a movie called Appetite for Sin, and that's going to actually be out by October. It should be out by Scare Fair. So she's an up and coming actress. She also has her own line of clothing on Mancu shop. She's a pretty much a influencer in social media. Let's see. There's also going to be the Grim Collective. They're a YouTube inspired duo. Him and his wife, they go around from coast to coast, going to spooky locations and grave sites. Just those horror type places where they go into the locations and do their filming and take you along the journey with them. They're going to be there. They're actually going to be filming live there at the Scare Fair. So I don't want to miss anybody, but yeah, they're going to be there, as well as comic book artists too. We're going to have quite a few comic book artists. Are you into comics at all?
The old school 90s comics.
There's Dan Mendoza. He's going to be there.
I like his work a lot.
You do? Okay.
His work is awesome.
There's some new news that came out from down in Mendoza's camp. He has a his art today is from Still Ill Comics, and they are doing his comics now. Who he's the publisher and creator of those comics. Well, now they're getting back Zombie Trap. They haven't had Zombie Trap for a couple of years. He left Action Comics and went to do his own comics, and now he's finally got Zombie Tramp back. And in October they're going to do a Kickstarter on Zombie Tramp as well. So that's exciting news. That's really big news for him and for anybody that's a fan of Dan Mendoza. So he's going to have some of that art, the new art of Zombie Tramp there at Scare Fair as well. There's Bill McKay, Eric Basadula, along with Dan Mendoza, is a Nightmare Lynch. She's going to be there as well. David Harrigan. There's going to be a new comic who is actually, he came off, he hit a home run right off the bat last year with the Last Ronin, which is the Ninja Turtle. And he is Aaron Bartling, and he hit a home run right away. And now he's doing other comics as well. He's doing some for DC as well. JP Roth is going to be there. Wendy Shaner. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody. Okay, one more. Isaac Bell and Alexa Lowe. Yeah, they're going to be there as well. Yeah, so there's a really good lineup of comic book artists. So anybody that's into comic books would want to be there as well. So it's kind of like a Comic-Con horror related expo that we put all together, and we're going to have over 50 vendors there as well. So including yourself. So a lot of artists, a lot of
crazy lineup you got right there going on.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of things to do there.
Yeah,
we set it up so there's certain events that people could do throughout the day. They could watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show with the audience participation, join or watch a costume cosplay contest. Lisa Wilcox is going to be the judge of that, and then the Taki Horror Podcast girls are going to host a Scream Queen contest. So, and then after that, our first band, Roadwork, goes on, and then the closing main show is American Zombie. So, along with our psychotic Carnival of Thrills, that is our haunt. So, yeah, so it'd be fun for everybody to come out, and especially
there's a mixture of everything.
Yeah, especially if they're looking for some good art. Come out. Like, your art is phenomenal. I love your art. Now, You grew up in Los Angeles,
Yeah, I did South LA.
South LA. So you saw a lot of things come out of Hollywood, such as some of the horror movies. Were you pretty close to Hollywood?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, that's what I grew up doing. Is just, my mom. The first thing that she rented for us when we were kids was this movie called Alice, Sweet Alice.
Oh
Not
yeah.
many people have heard about that. It's from the
Yeah.
'70s.
Yeah.
Um, oh, it was a Brooke Shields, one of her first movies that she came out in when she was a little girl.
Oh really? That's
Yeah,
cool.
and she has a sister, and that her sister's like an evil,
Yeah.
and it was done in the '70s. It's pretty crazy, but that
Yeah.
was the first movie
That's an old
I
movie.
watched.
Yeah. 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 One of the first movies that got to me was The Exorcist. I remember when that movie came out as a young child. That one always scared me because they had that
Mhm.
realistic element to it.
That one scared me because growing up Catholic and
Oh yeah.
growing up in a Hispanic household or Mexican household, and where my mom's constantly telling us, watch out, like,
Don't play with
uh,
this. Don't touch that.
yeah, like
Don't
don't cross
worship
over your
this.
sister. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the things that she wouldn't allow me to do is cross over. Like, if my sister was laying down, I couldn't like step across. I
Oh
couldn't cross over
really?
her. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a weird superstition.
yeah,
Yeah, they have those don't walk under a ladder, don't break a mirror, you have 7 years bad luck, stuff like
yeah.
that. But when I was growing up as kids, we used to play Bloody Mary, turn off the lights
Hmm.
and say Bloody Mary 3 times in the mirror. My mom, dad, and my aunts and uncles used to tell us, don't play that, don't play that. Something might
Hmm.
happen. Yeah, a lot of creepy things that we used to do as kids.
Right.
I wonder if it's lost in translation today.
Hmm.
Not what would the kids do now? Do they still play the same type of games that we used to do, or are they more sinister?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're definitely more desensitized.
Oh,
So that's
definitely, yeah, yeah.
that's.
They look at the '70s movies, '80s movies that we used to watch and think these were true horror movies, and they
Mhm.
look at them and laugh because it doesn't have the blood and gore, it doesn't scare. That wasn't scary.
Yeah.
And then we look at it now and it's quite corny. Some of
Uh-huh.
the actors like Robert England playing Freddy Krueger, and that character, he's like today he's like one of your uncles.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just like a comedian.
Yeah. And so yeah, but The Exorcist, that was one of them that was probably like the craziest one, even till this day for me.
Oh yeah. Till this day, I could watch it, but I still have that weird eerie feeling
Hmm.
inside. Um, several years back, I challenged myself to watch it alone
Hmm.
and actually put it on, did that, and just to see if I get through it, just to see if I get through some of my fears about that movie. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, keep me. I watched all through it, but when I went to sleep, when thoughts were going through my head,
Yeah.
like, yeah, because it can happen to anybody, I guess, or is it just um, a saying? I don't know. An exorcism. Uh, I never witnessed an exorcism, but I did witness somebody uh, being possessed.
Hmm.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you may it's been that way for a while, and you may have not known until they do something that makes you think like, oh, really, are they? Because I was in a similar situation where my roommate, when I was 27, I had a roommate, one of my best friends when I was growing up as a kid. You know, he was one of my roommates, and as soon as we signed a lease to the apartment, the second day, I'm not I'm not even gonna play with you. Like, he literally busted the exorcist on me, the whole thing. He didn't have his head spinning around or anything like that, but he was doing some really, really strange things where I had to get his mom involved, had to get the police involved.
Oh
Um,
man.
Yeah, and then it turned out that they diagnosed him with
Schizophrenia.
schizophrenia.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he had to take 3 different types of medication. And he had told me that he personally told me, he said, there was a demon that wanted to get to you, and I jumped in front of it. And yeah, so he told me that he took it. And
Wow.
he said, he said that he talked to it and all this stuff. And I was like, damn, like,
How long ago was
you
he
know,
your roommate for?
this happened in 2008, and it was we had signed a lease, so I had to like put
Bear
up with
with it.
it. I had to put up with it for like 6 months, and yeah, so it was about 6 months. It happened in 2007, but he's doing a lot better now.
Was there any more occurrences than just that?
After that, no.
Wow. That's crazy. Did you know him for a long time prior to that?
Yeah, known him since we were in grade school.
Oh, wow. So you had no idea of the schizophrenia.
No, but ever since then he's been different. That's the weirdest thing, is he's never been the same after that 2007. Yeah. So I can relate when you talk about, possibly knowing somebody who's, I don't know, like they're calling it schizophrenia, but it definitely was something different.
Well, when I was around 18 years old, we had an experience with a Ouija board, and
Mm-hmm.
we had brought it into one of my ex-girlfriend's houses, and we were playing with it there. And there was 5 of us, uh, my best friend, his friend, my girlfriend, her sister, and we're playing with the Ouija board. And it was kind of weird because it answered some of the questions that it knew about you. So when you'd ask it a question like, how old am I? You'd answer
Mm-hmm.
your age. But one of the things that I noticed, that it always spelled stuff wrong. It would spell a name missing a, like Danny, it'd be missing an N, or like
Mm-hmm.
Susie, it'll spell with the, if it's not with the Z, it's with the S, another S, S-U-S, some things like that. It'd be off a little bit, but it always spell wrong. And we had these weird occurrences after the fact. But one things that I knew about me is I went to the military, and I had already signed my documents to go in, and I was going to go into an artillery unit, and
Mm-hmm.
I asked it, what am I going to do for a career, and it said big guns, which is an artillery unit, and I thought, wait a minute. Um, Earlier on the week, I re-signed. I changed my MOS, which
Mm-hmm.
is my job for the military, and I changed it to communications. I
Mm-hmm.
was a communication tech, and it wasn't for an artillery unit. It was for a headquarters battalion, which was kind of weird because why would it know something that I did I was going into, but I'm not now. But it
Mm-hmm.
came close. It came very close to knowing what it was I was doing. And I asked it, "What did I do when I got home from school today?" And
Mm-hmm.
it put ha 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 ha. And only I knew what that meant. I watched Woody Woodpecker when I got home.
Yeah.
And it said ha ha ha. I mean, it was so weird and strange. And I didn't
Did
want to play it again. I just like put that
Yeah,
thing
that
away.
gave you chills.
Oh yeah, yeah. But it didn't haunt me as much as it did go after the minds and the psyche of
Mm-hmm.
some of my friends that were sitting there. And one of my friends got totally possessed by it because he was playing with it and channeling it by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then him and my other friend that was there, they would go and play with it on their own. And my friend was telling me all kinds of weird stuff. Well, one night when I was there at my friend's house, we were playing in television, which is kind of like our Atari, and I was playing in his living room, and he was talking to his girlfriend on the phone in his bedroom, um, and I heard complete silence. I didn't hear any talking. I didn't hear anything that was going on. So I walked over to his room, and he's lying in his bed with his eyes just like piercing black.
Mhm.
and he's just staring up in the air. And I look at the phone. The phone is literally on the floor, and I could hear his girlfriend screaming, David, David, what's going on? What's going on? And I picked up the phone. I said, what's going on? She goes, I heard a little girl's voice, and she says she wants
Mhm.
to kill. She says she wants to kill me. I said, there's
Mhm.
not a little girl here. She goes, Eddie, it's a little girl. And I looked at him, and finally he like snapped out of it. He started crying. He said, I was inside my body calling for you, but I couldn't
Mhm.
come out. I couldn't come out of my body because the demon was holding me down. It's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
took him to my mom. My mom was highly into the church activities, and
Mhm.
she called up the priest. This happened at nighttime. She called up the priest, and she said, "Bring him right over." And he kind of talked to him, and then told him to stay away from the Ouija board, but kind of blessed him and stuff like that. But yeah, it was that incident was kind of strange. That was the only
Mhm.
time I've ever seen anybody, if he was possessed. But from everything that looked um, like possession. Yeah,
Mhm.
it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
besides besides that, I've never experienced an exorcism or
Mhm.
another possession or anything like that. What other type of movies do you like besides horror?
I like I like a lot of gangster movies, like just mafia, gangster, either one. Yeah, mostly mafia, gangster, and then I like a lot of true crime stuff. I read a lot about true crime, and
Yeah, I love true
um,
crime.
yeah, it's crazy the stuff that happens out there. My sister, she actually works for the Tustin Police Department.
Uh
She
huh.
does forensic. She actually does forensic stuff, and the stuff that she tells me, and yeah, like white collar crime and
Yeah.
stuff that doesn't get news coverage. There's a lot of stuff that's
There's
not going
the,
to get news
oh
coverage
yeah,
that happens that people will be crazy about. So.
I think there's more fascinating stuff that isn't covered than there
Mhm.
are that are people are fascinated with. And I think there's so much out there that people
There is,
don't realize.
and certain stuff deserves news coverage, but sadly it just doesn't get there because the popular doesn't want it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's your sister, you said?
That's my sister. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some podcasts on Spotify that I listen to constantly. I somehow go to sleep to it. That tells some really true crime stories,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of them out there. But I listened to quite a few of them. I put my headphones on, just like fall asleep to
Hmm.
some murderer or something
Yeah.
happening. Yeah, pretty trippy.
Yeah. So I like watching stuff that is, yeah, a little bit on the darker side, I guess. And then I like Disney movies. So it's a quite of a contrast. I'll go from stuff like that to like funny classic Disney movies.
Do you ever draw Disney?
And the style of them, yeah. Like one of the guys that was my instructor, he
Mhm.
actually trains over at the Animation Guild, and
Oh,
they
okay.
train for Disney artists. So that's why a lot of the art that I do is looks, down that alley because a lot of the instructors that I was taught from, I learned from them that teach at the Disney Academy.
No, that is that the one that's right off of the 101
I'll,
or the
yeah,
134? Yeah, in
yeah,
Burbank, right?
in
Yeah,
Burbank, right by
yeah.
Portals.
Yeah. Are they still there? I know they used to have like Mickey's cap.
Mhm.
Uh,
No, it's all yeah, they're still there. They're still there, but I think for the most part, everybody's just working from home.
okay, because of COVID.
Hmm.
Yeah, I knew there's an animation place there in Burbank, kind of like the Burbank uh, Toluca Lake area
Hmm.
there and there.
Yeah, I think that one's further up called LA LAFA, LA Figurative. I think that might be it. Or there's Animation Guild is where I
Yeah.
studied, and that's yeah,
And where's the Animation Guild?
it's right there by
Right
Portals,
there.
or
Yeah.
Magnolia, and yeah, by the freeway, right across from the Disneyland uh, Disney Center.
Yeah. There's a lot of lots there too that do
Hmm.
sitcoms, and there's I think there's a street called Bob Hope Drive.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I went and did one of my fiancées. She was going on Family Feud, and
Hmm.
she asked me to join them. So we went to the casting call for Family Feud, and that was in that general area right there as well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we didn't make it, but it's quite a show. You got to act to be a a part, even just a part of a family. You got to
Uh-huh.
really be animated for them to pick you out. And
Oh,
each one
wow,
you,
I didn't know it was like that.
yeah, they pick. They have the families. There's about, let's say, 20 families there, and they have you go up
Uh-huh.
on stage, and then they do a mock trial of like a mock. They ask you questions and see how your family answers it and see how they
Hmm.
respond, and see if they're charismatic, like if they clap loud, if they
Yeah.
cheer. And yeah, they want some really charismatic families to go up
Hmm.
there. Yeah, it's pretty trippy.
Yeah.
uh Really Hollywood. And the set, it was really small. Yeah, you'd think the Family Food set would be huge, but it's probably no bigger than like a 20 by 20 area.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Everything appears larger on TV, and
Oh
then when
yeah.
you get in person, it's like, oh, this was filmed here, and yeah.
Would you
Like,
ever go ahead?
oh, sorry to cut you off, but like, a good example is, you ever see Prince of Darkness with Alice Cooper made like a cameo in
Yes,
it?
yes,
Prince
yes,
of
yes,
Dark.
yes.
So the church that was actually filmed at, like when you watch it on the movie, it looks like a crazy big church, but then you go to it, it's actually in downtown off Second Street in Little Tokyo, and
Mhm.
it's a little tiny. It's still standing there. You can actually go there and take pictures if you want. It's pretty cool. Um, so it's over there off Second Street in Little Tokyo, a little
Oh
tiny
wow.
small Catholic church, and that's where it was filmed everything. But when
Yeah,
you see it
checked
on
it
the
out.
screen,
We go to
yeah,
Little Tokyo quite a bit. I love Little
yeah.
Tokyo. My son loves Little Tokyo.
Hmm. So it's right there off of Second and Alameda. No, yeah, Alameda.
Mhm. Yeah, I gotta go check that out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Did you ever think about crossing over from art, some of your artwork, to like movies or animation?
All the time, like especially movies. Like I totally like had this whole visual for doing like a horror movie, and I got my camera ready to go, and I'm slowly learning how to edit and take shots and footage, and
Of
yeah.
a actual movie or an animated movie?
No, just like an actual like
Mm.
movie, like just even if it's like a 30-second trailer, something that just I want to like put my vision onto like film, and a lot of the inspiration is from like 70s Italian horror. I like a lot of Italian horror. Yeah,
Do you like a lot of Robert Rodriguez movies,
I do. Yeah,
From Dusk to
him and
Dawn? And
yeah, that one was that shaped me. Like that movie actually kind of shaped me, like
yeah,
shaped my art,
yeah,
shaped my like way of looking at the world, and
yeah. It's kind of weird how that movie uh, crosses over from something like a bank robbery gone
mm-hmm,
bad to a horror flick that you're watching. A lot of the dialogue transfer over. Well, is a movie written by Quentin Tarantino, but is directed by
mm-hmm,
Robert Rodriguez,
right.
and that crossover to like horror sexy,
Mm-hmm,
and then just pure like the graphics of the vampires eating. You
mm-hmm,
know, I think that was a well produced, well written, and well directed movie.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that. I mean, I was 15 at the time when that came out, and I think I watched it like quite a few times.
You know, you could see some of your art uh, in that Selma Hayek character.
Yeah, I actually need to bring that one back. did
Oh,
a
you did
pinup
her
drawing of
before.
her. Yeah, with the python. She has
Yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah, and it's a cool pinup drawing I did. She's like has the python and she's like walking, and
She
I'm
had
sure like a
the
lot of
feathers in her hair.
yeah, that's so awesome looking
Oh,
too.
I
You
want
know,
to see
I'll
that.
dig. I'm gonna dig through it tomorrow. But I did it on paper before I was doing it on the iPad. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was all like traditional pen and paper.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I'd love to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but like 2 years ago, my friend, he used to have, me and him used to host these cosplay. He had a comic book shop actually in Tustin, and we used to host these cosplay workshops where a cosplayer would come in and pose for us,
Mm-hmm.
and like a bunch of us artists would draw them, and that's kind of how I started the after hours fun, was because it was done after hours from work, and we'd have cosplayers come in and pose as like different characters. You know, it could be from from Adam's Family, or it could be from a lot of comic characters like Phoenix, from Marvel, Black Widow, and it was cool stuff. But anyways, to make that long story short, was this is really sad news, but so my friend Arlen ended up getting shot by his brother and killed. And
Wow.
then this is like true story. This is one of those, going back to what we were talking about, true crime
Mm-hmm.
and that stuff happening and not getting any news coverage. So this happened in Tustin, and it happened a few years ago. And his name is Arlen Play, very good artist, and no one will ever know what happened because you know it didn't get the news coverage that it deserved. And so after that kind of stopped, we stopped doing the bigger drawing and we stopped doing the cosplay drawing. And after that, I just kind of took a step back and just stopped doing the live figure drawing ever since
Mm.
then. But
You had mentioned to me when you were coming on board to Scare Fair that you kind
mhm,
of had the idea of bringing in a cosplayer to
yeah,
draw live.
yeah, and so this will be awesome for me to be able to provide live a live drawing for the person that's going to buy art from me,
Mhm.
and you know I'll sign it, and it was live at that event. It was exclusive, and it was like an exclusive day, and to them it might mean more. I want to bring value, and if that's my way of being able to bring value to a art customer, then I'll for sure do it. I mean, I'm totally digging that idea.
Do you like Grindhouse movies as well?
Mhm.
Which would, I guess it would kind of be like a Grindhouse, but popular movie would be From Dusk to Dawn. But there's some Grindhouse movies that Quentin Tarantino had done.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, but the '70s type Grindhouse. But there's a lot of sexy pinups
Mhm.
in Grindhouse.
Yeah, there are. I'm trying to think which one is a good one. Um, you know, I mean, I guess I'm more favored towards the Italian horror movie. Like Suspiria is probably the most popular one,
Oh
but there's
yeah,
a ton of other.
I have not had a chance to see Suspiria. Every
Mhm.
time I've either gotten close to putting it on or watching it, I either watch something else or I fall asleep. But
Mhm.
that's definitely one of those movies I want to watch.
Yeah, yeah, that's one that has kind of a little bit of that pinup vibe to it, but it's it's actually a really good film.
Now, Italian movies, do you subtitle? Do you watch subtitles or do you watch voiceovers?
No, they're subtitled.
Just have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
read them. There's a couple that we have watched with the subtitles and the voiceovers.
Uh-huh.
I'd prefer to watch the voiceovers just so we can concentrate on the movie itself instead of
Hmm.
reading the subtitles. But we've done both.
Hmm.
A lot of them had been mainly Dracula type movies.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
You ever hear of the Egyptian theater in Hollywood?
yes, yeah.
Yeah. So last year before COVID, they were showing 35 millimeter Italian horror movies,
Oh
and
wow.
it was so like not a popular thing in, but you know, there was a crowded theater because a lot of the people that were, you know, like true like vintage 70s horror movies, that like that Italian horror, they went to it
Yeah, that
and they
would be
played them
awesome
there.
to go to.
They played Repo Man there, and that was
Oh,
awesome to see
Repo
that.
Man.
I mean, yeah, it's not really a horror
Wait,
movie,
wait,
but
wait. What's Repo Man?
the one with Emilio Estevez,
Yeah,
and
okay, yeah, the original Repo Man. Yeah,
you know, it has kind of like that Mad Max
yeah,
vibe to it.
yeah.
But that's just to, you know, share that that's the
Like
type of vibe.
kind of like a
Really,
post apocalyptic.
yeah, they're very selective with the 35 millimeter films that they play, and that's the best way to watch horror movie.
It's funny because a lot of people never even heard of that Repo Man, but there's
Mm-hmm.
the other Repo. Um, that's a musical. It's a Repo. Geez, what's it called? It's a musical. It has
Mm-hmm.
who's in it? Um, Paul Sorvino. He's
Mm-hmm.
in it. He plays the father. Um, what's
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
think
know what
I've
I'm talking
seen.
about?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, a genetic opera.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is they sell, his company sells organs to you, and you have to pay in payments. And if you don't pay, they come and repo those body parts back from you, either your heart, your lungs,
Yeah.
your whatever organ uh they're renting to you.
Yeah.
They'll come and take it if you don't pay up. Yeah, it's, it's quite a movie. It's I'm trying to think of the female name that's in that movie, and um, she's more popular in uh, not being an actress, but kind of being one of those celebrities like Kim Kardashian.
Mm-hmm.
She's blonde. Why can't I think of her name? Yeah, really popular in Hollywood. But that movie's pretty good. That uh, uh, Repo, the genetic opera.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is there any movies that you could think of that? Oh, well, do you enjoy Rob Zombie's movies?
Yeah, I do.
He's redoing the Munsters.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, I haven't really seen anything, but I'm sure it's going to be good because I don't want to like I don't want to get too like excited about it. I'm just
Yeah,
going to leave it as it is and not
it's
trying to get
it.
my, yeah,
I'm a big Rob Zombie fan as far as music is concerned,
yeah.
as far as what he's done, what he did to the Halloween movie, not what he did in his franchise to Hollywood movies, but not. I mean, his second movie of Halloween wasn't as great as his first one,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a fan of his as far as his creativity
Mm-hmm.
um, in making all of his movies. Um, but with the Munsters, I'm a huge Munster fan.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Munster, my name's Eddie. I have a huge widow's peak on my head. You see
Mm-hmm.
that? And so
Yeah.
growing up, I was called in the military. They called me Eddie, which they didn't even know my first name. Thought that was funny, but I I grew up loving the Munsters,
Uh-huh.
and watching somebody recreate that. I don't want it recreated like back in the 80s. It was recreated really cheesy,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's being recreated by Rob Zombie. Um, he always has Cheryl Moon on in his movies, which I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping she's not casted in the
Mm-hmm.
Munsters because he doesn't have a casting yet. But they're showing his as he's working on the stage and everything else. He's building a whole neighborhood in Budapest. I think it's Budapest, is it? But it's where he's going to do the start filming um, the Munsters, and he has
Mm-hmm.
the whole mansion recreated. Looks pretty cool, but
Yeah.
I want to see what his take on the monsters would be. Very
Yeah.
interested. Very interested if he's going to go into the gore, or is he's going to do it more like a comedy, but not be too um, hillbilly-ish,
Mhm.
like he's done in most of his movies.
Right.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. I like that hillbilly horror stuff.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
Texas Chainsaw hillbilly
yeah,
horror
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Well, Texas Chainsaw, that movie, um, that was one of those slasher type movies
Hmm.
that I thought was real back when I was a kid.
Hmm.
Like I would watch all the other horror movies and think, oh, that's so fake, or
Yeah.
Mike Myers, she's this character, or Freddy Krueger, he's this character. But when
Yeah.
I go back and and prepare to watch for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I thought those movies were actual real uh, visions,
Yeah.
like
Well, it really did happen. Like it's
yeah,
something that it's not a myth. Like that actually happened.
well,
Maybe not in that fashion, but there
yeah,
was definitely a Texas Chainsaw Massacre that happened.
yeah, it's crazy. Um, but those type of movies, like that bring out that gore.
Hmm.
But then back then they had somewhat of a storyline to go with the gore,
Hmm.
and that hillbilly type comedy go with it. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's quite. Matthew McConaughey uh, was in one of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres,
Yeah, the
and
later one. Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah, and he's got that kind of like hillbilly vibe to him.
Yeah.
Um, I, when I asked you about animation, going into
Hmm.
Hollywood and doing animation, I I was thinking more of the lines of um, Hotel Transylvania.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the first one. Are they on number 4 now or number 3 or?
Oh man, they're like in number five, I think.
Oh wow.
Four
Yeah.
or five. Let's see, they did the first one, the second one, the third one. I think they went
Hmm.
on a vacation. So
Yeah.
I think they're on
It's
number
number 4.
four. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen the first two, and I think they're great. Um, but to be honest, I've been like crazy busy with work, and you know,
Yeah.
I do a lot of freelance when I get off work, and then trying to manage my side hustle business stuff. So, but I made time to sit and chat with you, and if I had that, you know, I really just don't have time to. I have to like schedule a time to watch these things now. I mean, the good old days is when I don't know, like even a few years ago, like before I was running my business, which is like my online business, selling these art prints.
Uh-huh.
Like, I appreciate when people buy them, but it also it takes time for me to like prepare them and package them and ship them, especially when
Yeah.
I get a bunch of them coming in. So a few years ago, before I was running my side business and I just had a full time job, it was easy to just be watching movies a lot, and so it's been tough lately with movie watching. I've just kind of been on the grind for the last several months.
I
Yeah.
do want to mention your packaging. Um,
Hmm.
when you package your artwork,
Hmm.
you do such a good job in sending your artwork to your customer. But not just that, is you put a little bit more care into it by adding a sticker or something
Hmm.
that you've
I'll throw in
added
a
to.
little something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. That
I want to get better. I actually want to get once I get a budget and I start generating more sales and I'm able to brand the packaging and get it even better. I want to I want to think of a new way where I can provide a box, a package where you get everything. Like you're going to get a sticker, you're going to get a cool shirt and a cool art print. But it's not just that. Like I want to bring more value. So I'm more focusing on trying to bring value for my next, art drop. And so, for instance, like the Lily Munster shirt that I'm doing, it's actually being discharged, printed by a guy here in LA, and it's printed by hand. It's not done overseas. It's not done on a machine. It's like hand screen printed.
Mhm.
and then he's using like special inks and for like really good vintage feel. I
Mhm.
wanted to have like a 60s. It's almost like he found a vintage shirt from the 60s.
Oh yeah, that's very cool. I love that. Um, you're putting thought into your work as well.
Yeah, I don't want to just push out product. I barely do that.
The
If I
thing
don't feel
about
good
it,
about it, yeah.
the thing about making it look vintage is it's going to
Uh-huh.
be uh, handmade with a lot of detail, but
Mhm.
it's not going to be cheap. It's not
Mhm.
going to fall apart like a 60s shirt would, but it's
Mhm.
got that 60s feel to it.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to pitch? You got your Instagram, which is After Hours Fun.
Mhm.
You have your Facebook, which is After Hours Fun as well,
Mhm.
right? Is
That is
there a
correct.
website or anything else?
Yeah, well, once you go onto my Instagram, you can link up to everything on there. My shopping site is on there, and pretty much now I'm just quiet mode because I'm pretty much getting ready for your show. I'm getting ready for Scare Fair. Literally, I got two pins coming out. I have one that's a pumpkin. I don't know if I could share my screen on here. Let's see.
Yeah, you can share screen.
Oh
There's
yeah,
a
share
button that
screen.
says share.
Let's see. Host disabled. Maybe I think you need to set yours up
Let's
so that I
see.
could allow me to share my screen.
Okay.
But anyways, I think
How's that?
yeah. Can you see my screen now?
No, not
Let's
yet.
try it. Hold on. All right, desktop share.
There we go. Yep.
All right. Yeah, let's see if I have it on my. So I just sent out production for this pin,
Oh, those are cool.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so I was inspired by the ones to the right, and that's one thing about using inspiration is you kind of see how other people are doing their coloring, and then
Mhm.
I have my own art here to the left, and this
Right.
pin is specifically designed for people who like to make shit like this, you know, this horror, and they're making masks, they're making props, and they're up late at night creating, and so this is
Yeah.
a little pin that I got in the works.
Yeah. Pin trading is huge. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm into Disney pin trading. I've been into it since 2005. I kind of
Uh,
taken a break from it because it's an expensive hobby. But pins
uh,
like that for pin trading are awesome. I like the little pumpkin ghost that you had. That little pumpkin
mm-hmm.
is like a cat face pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
Was that
Oh
one
yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
My wife would totally love that. She has a tattoo of a little cat coming out of a pumpkin. That's almost like that.
Yeah, yeah. That would actually look like a good one. It's the little kitten coming out of the pumpkin.
Mhm.
Um, but when I get feedback like this, it really helps me a lot because I take it and I kind of run with it. And that's the reason why I started doing this shirt because a lot of my customers were asking for it, which I'm thankful for. And I'm like, all right, if a bunch of people are going to commit to it, and
Oh
I'll
yeah.
go ahead and
I
make it.
definitely want one of those shirts, and I know my wife would probably want one, so she'd probably get it and not me. But that's the way it always works. Um, but yeah, she has quite a
But
few
yeah,
shirts like that from other artists, so I'm
mhm.
pretty sure that she'll get that one as well.
Yeah, but for the most part, everything's pretty much quiet on my end. I don't do too many shows. I'm just getting ready for this one coming up, and
Well, we're
yeah, so
fortunate to have you aboard.
mhm.
Enjoy your art and looking forward to having you at Scare Fair. Now, is there any in particular person that you would like to see that you're anxious to see or meet
Oh
over at Scare Fair?
yeah, yeah. It's Linda Hamilton. You said, or what was her name? From Friday.
Lisa Wilcox
Sorry.
from
Yeah, her.
yeah, Lisa Wilcox from Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost want to ask her, like, was she part of Dream Master Part 5, and was she over there? Because that would be a trip, because I was over
Yeah.
there that day too when I was a little kid, and they
Mhm.
were filming it. And then 30 years later, I meet again.
Flyer. Let's find out. I'm pretty sure she's on 4 and 5. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's in 4 and 5.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and that I guess she was on
Yep, on 4 and 5. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. She's
So
on
that's a trip. Yeah, I'll let her know if I get a chance to chat with her and meet with her, and I want to. I think yeah.
Lisa Wilcox, 4 and 5. Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and Dan Mendoza, you probably like a lot of his stuff, especially come out again with a zombie trap. Him bringing her home. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, it was great talking to you. I enjoyed our conversation. Enjoyed this time to get to know you, get to know your art. But it's time to go now before our podcast runs out of time.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I like what
No
you're
problem.
doing with the event and the promoting and the marketing. It's it's definitely something that you've been working on, and I'm thankful that you were able to bring me along.
Oh, you're gonna have fun. It's gonna be filled with a lot of events, stuff for people to do, trick or treating. So the trick or treating alone will bring people to your booth as well.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure a lot of people will be fascinated with their art.
Cool, man.
So it's
I
good
appreciate
talking
it.
to you.
Uh-huh.
And signing off from my public life as American Nerd. Talk to you later. See you, Daniel.
Okay, bye.